Good evening, one and all. Welcome to the Toon Review YouTube channel. And tonight, Mr. Harrison as well is joining me for the Newcastle United Liverpool preview. If you do enjoy the show, guys, please remember to hit the like button. And if you're new and you like what you see, don't forget to consider subscribing. And super chats are available if you wish to donate to the channel tonight. Just hit the $ at the bottom of the live comments, and that will take you through to the payment method. So thank you in advance for that. Good evening, Mr. Harrison.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm okay. And how are you?
I'm canny. Yeah,
good.
I've got a bit of a snotty nose off the grandkids. God love them, but other than that, tickety boo.
Yeah. You know, you're always getting colds, Dave. You need to get some vitamin C inside you, man.
It's just the age, you know. It's just
yes. You should get them. You should get them butlers out and get them bloody, vitamin C, night nurse, hot toddies.
Yeah,
you've got plenty of butlers up there, mate, in the castle.
Yeah.
You can do it.
So you keep telling me. I don't know where they all are, but never mind.
Well, you do. In the dungeon, that's where they are. We'll just look through a couple of comments first of all. Good evening to Ronald is with us again. Toon Army says, I'm thinking about buying a catheter and tomorrow game catheter myself. It will be more comfortable than watching the game. I have a feeling we're in for a hammer in next 3 games. Stephanie agrees with that. Great idea. Good evening, Julie. I know you're quizzing tonight, so you can pop in and out. Hit the likes button. Everyone subscribe to the channel and play nicely.
You tell him.
Mike thinks it's a bit drastic from Toon Army to fit himself with a catheter. Peter, good evening. Evening, Newcastle fans. Hope you're well. Man City beat Leeds 7-0. Liverpool want to get their goal difference up. Yeah, we'll be coming on to that. Don't you worry about that. Good evening, Yano. Cesare in the house. Louis in the house. No, I'm not Pauline, you cheeky git. Trolls in the house. David Lincoln's in the house. Dave Harrison, you're in the house as well. Stephanie, keep on rising. Kind of rise. Shanio's in the house. Hey, everyone. I know everyone wants Maxi drop, but given how bad Trent Alexander-Arnold is as defending, I think we should have Maxi running straight at TAA. We'll come on to that and the tactics. Charles, thanks for the 50 krona, mate. Super chat. Very, very kind of you, as usual.
Good of you.
Thank you, matey. Louis says, good evening, King of Northumberland. Ivan's in the house. Good evening to you, matey. Simon, good evening. Lots of everybody saying hello. Forever Ron's in the house. Everybody's saying hello to everybody at the minute. Hazard's in the house. Evening, you sexy buggers. Chris, good evening. Hey, guys, been lots of transfer rumours today. If you believe the news, some are confirmed. Do you guys know any more? Good to you both, fellas. Not at the minute. I've heard that Kieran Trippier is pretty much done. I think that's pretty well known across the board now. And I'm still pretty positive that Jesse Lingard is going to sign as well, but there'll be more to come on that in the future weeks. Leading up to the obviously leading up to January and then early part of January. I think that is a deal that will probably be done very quickly. Susan's in the house. Good evening. I'm saying good evening. I've already seen it then anyway. Mike, if we come away lower than the Man City score, then it could be viewed as a result.
Oh, I don't know about that, but yeah, I get where you come from.
Forever on. Thanks for this $2.99 super chat, matey. Small donation to celebrate Trippier joining the squad. David says plenty of mushrooms full of vitamin D, Paul. Interesting. Stephanie says I really am excited for Trippier rumours. Hopefully it happens. Yeah, I think it's probably going to be honest.
Yeah, it's looking that way.
Bob's in the house. 10 Tabs Gaming in the house. Graham says as bad as we are, would the top 4 get 52,000 supporters if they were in our position? Clearly not, because Man City's ground was half empty yesterday.
Just grace last night, Paul, by the way, at Man City. I mean, the amount of gaps in the seating. I mean, I shudder to think, they're winning every game. They're knocking goals in our phone, and then people don't. So it's either too expensive or I don't know what it is. Yeah. But it's just, it's sad, really. It really is.
It's, I don't think that, Yeah, but you could say the expense, Dave, but if we were in Man City's position, I don't think we'd have that many empty seats, to be fair, even on a weeknight. No doubt about it.
Go on. So I'm going to say, you're right. If we were playing at the top of the league the way Man United are, I could see us, even with a 60, 70,000 seater stadium, I think even on a cold Wednesday night, I still think would fill it.
Exactly.
People are winning,
because we're crazy. That's a well-known fact. Geordie Toon for Life says, I've reserved a spot in Phoenix window for Steph. I made it a big space. Oh, dear. Tom says, last time Newcastle won a game at Liverpool was 1994. Do you know who scored that day?
I can't remember. Don't know. No, you're going to tell us. Was it really? Oh, there you go.
It certainly was. Shanio says, Vahalovic refusing to sign a contract at Fiorentina. We should be making a move on him. Doubt he'd come now. And well, you never know. You never know. This is the thing. We'll find out in January, I guess. Yeah. Louis says, if Salah is playing, he will score in 6.10 seconds. Michael says, King of Durham and King of... apparently, I'm right now. King of Durham and King of Northumberland. Cheers, Michael.
Yeah.
Chris says, what makes you think Lingard is happening? Still see it being likely West Ham move. Hope not. Look, you've got to take into consideration with Jesse Lingard, right? His girlfriend doesn't want to move from Manchester. Now, Manchester is way closer to Newcastle than it is to West Ham. West Ham, he's guaranteed more money at Newcastle. West Ham won't pay him the wages that will be available at Newcastle. So let's just, instead of us all saying, oh, why would he want to come to us? Let's start thinking about players coming to us instead of just, they're not going to want to come. We don't know. We don't know what they're going to be offered behind the scenes, money-wise and things like that. So I think we just need to hang fire. Let's see what happens in January and go from there.
I always say, Paul, it's a bit like what the sales pitch is going to be from Amanda and the team. Do you want to be started what's going to be a brilliant, few years, as many as you like? And I think a lot of players would say, yeah, I think I do. Yeah. Because, most of these players have played here, with the original parent clubs. How mad we are. They've seen it back in the days of, the entertainers and that, we're talking about with Warren last night. We know, the noise and everything else, and the fact that you said we're all daft buggers. It's the only way to be, really. I think if it's still been the old regime, you'd have been talking about somebody from the third division if you're lucky. But now, we're talking about, as we said, we were shopping in Poundland, and now we're shopping in Harrods, so that's what we've got to look at. And we've got to build slowly. There's no getting away from it. You can't just go out and spend, gazillions of pounds and buy a new squad. It often doesn't work. But slow, steady build, that's what we need.
Yeah. Anyway, tomorrow we go to Anfield, Dave, in what should be a very straightforward 3 points for Newcastle.
Absolutely.
I don't see any problem at all with us bringing back the 3 points. Now, we look at what Eddie Howe had to say today, and obviously I've done a video on that, guys, so if you want to see that, go and watch it after the show. Press conference reaction video. Federico Fernandez is injured.
Yeah, one or two people on Twitter and Facebook were saying that's very convenient.
Yeah, I did as well.
But there's a photograph of him with one of these leg brace things on. I don't know what it was doing to his leg, but whatever it was doing.
It's like a heat. It's like a
heat. Yeah, whatever thing. So I just don't know. We've said loads of times over the last few shows, Paul, something not right there. We don't know what it is, but it is convenient that he's out.
Yeah.
It just rather disappoints us because we know it's going to be Lascelles in the middle, and he's just not doing what he should be doing. He's lost his confidence. He's and I think, as we said last night, it's a case of don't strip him of the captaincy. You just take some of the responsibility off him, and then just free him up. He could be, is there a better player in there? I'm not sure. I think maybe he's gone too far. I don't know. I would love all our players to be superstars, but unfortunately, they're not. And as we said last night, 14 years of misery and then 2.5 years of disaster from the previous regime. It's going to take a lot of getting over, And I mean, Eddie's only been here, what is it, 6 weeks now or something? And he's only
if that.
He's only a handful of games, really. So,
and he's had COVID as well in between that time.
So he's starting from a real point, a real minus point, if you want to say it that way.
I don't see, this minority of Howe out. I think it's ridiculous. Some people coming out with saying, as soon as Rafa's sacked at Everton, they're going to sack Howe and get Rafa in. And I don't want bloody Rafa back, thank you very much.
That port has sailed.
Very true. Father Snowman says, Paul, with the next 5 games coming up, do you see any points? None against Liverpool, none against City, none against Man United. And I was confident before the Leicester game of getting points against Man United. Then who forgot? Everton.
Yeah, I can see points against Man United and Everton, but the next 2, not a chance. I don't think.
See, I
Mind
don't
you,
I don't think we'll get anything against United either.
No.
I just think the pace will beat us every time.
Yeah, that's the worry.
We don't have the pace to put up with these kind of strike forces. You know, they're too quick for us.
Yeah, I mean, we're daft enough to get a point or something. You know, that's typical us.
Dave, I love your bloody optimism.
I know,
you keep saying that.
But it isn't going to happen, is it?
No. Blakey says maybe Mitro could have a word in Vahalovic's ear. Yeah, possibly. Yeah. Michael says, what do you think of a 5-man midfield of Shelvey, Hayden, Joe Linton, Murphy, Fraser? I mean, we said about this on the fan forum last night. I think that's not a bad option for us. I said that I would probably like to see St. Maximin come out of the side. I'd like to see Almiron out of the side just to put their asses on the bench and say, look, you're not the be-all and end-all of this team. Yeah. You need to perform better. But give Murphy and Fraser a chance out wide. And I think a 3-man midfield of those 3 there, just to try and, deny Liverpool in a way of coming at us. Because we know a lot of Liverpool attacks start in the midfield, Dave. The likes of Thiago and Henderson, they get the attack on the way. We have to nullify that somehow. And maybe playing those 3 can nullify that situation.
You're right. You've got to make the midfield harder to get past, because once the likes of Sarr and that get round the back of us, we're stuffed. Because we just haven't got the thinking speed or the foot speed to stop them. And you're right. If you pack the midfield, it might give us a chance to get something out of the game. But you're talking about one of the best sides in Europe at the minute, so. And Liverpool aren't bad either, of course.
Of course.
But no, whatever we do, Paul, is going to be really tough, because you're right what you say. We've said it before, and we'll have to say it again until January comes. The majority of those players are championship players. There's only a handful of what I would class as Premiership players. So, and they're all getting on a bit. And if they weren't good enough in the first place, how are they going to be good enough now? So it's a sad state of affairs, really, that we find ourselves. And we all know why, though. That's the thing. And like we just said about, how out. I mean, what an utter load of rubbish. I saw one bloke.
His own team. Let's get his own team in first. And fair enough, if he doesn't perform after that, fine. But let him get his own players in for the living Christ.
I saw one on Twitter who mine got absolute pelters when he said, I'd rather have Bruce back. And you're thinking, what? You're having a laugh. And
that's a troll. That's just not reality. That if that's a true Newcastle fan, he doesn't deserve to support us, to be honest.
No, that's very true.
Mike says, how about going for the Arsenal now ex-captain? I'm sure we can afford his wages. Not a chance would I have a Aubameyang.
Not a whole
Not with his attitude. It absolutely stinks. And can you imagine trying to get a player with that kind of attitude for a relegation battle? Just not what we need.
Work. I mean, he may well be a good player, Paul, but you see his attitude stinks. And that is this the 3rd or 4th club discipline he's had against him? That's why he's lost the armband.
And he did have some at Dortmund as well. Let's not forget.
Did he?
He had problems at Dortmund as well. A bit of a playboy with his sports cars and stuff like that. So he's not somebody I would want at the club, to be honest.
Not what you want. No.
Now, obviously, Eddie Howe mentioned today as well, Dave. He was talking about Jamal Lascelles and bigging him up again, saying he's my captain. He's going to play, isn't he? So, I mean, of course he's going to play, because the only other option is bloody Clark. So he is going to play. Now, what worries me, Dave, is obviously we've talked about, certainly after the Leicester game, we've talked about in the fan forum leading up to this game, many people are worried about the fact that Jamal Lascelles is very slow, not just pace-wise, but thinking-wise, reading the play.
Yeah.
And when you've got Salah and Mane coming at you at 100 mile an hour, I dread to think what they're going to do.
Well, it's like I just said, if they get round the back of our defence, they're too slow. And, if Clark plays or Shaw plays or whatever, they're already covering for Lascelles because he's just not on his game, and he hasn't been for, a good number of games. I mean, even into last season, he was up and down. So you're right. I mean, I get why Eddie Howe's bigging him up and saying he's my captain, and because he's got to, because he hasn't got a string of players to slot in, so he's got to do that. He's got to, he's clearly the type of bloke who's going to praise his team all the time to the press, and then probably give them the right old rollicking afterwards, which is that's good management style. But because he's praising them, that'll not do him any harm. But will it do him any good? Because I don't know.
I don't think praising him. I think you're right what you say, because if you praise him, you think, "Oh, I'm doing nothing wrong, me." But surely, in Lascelles' own mind, he must realise that he is not performing very well at the minute. It's just amazing. Michael says here, I think it was reported in the Chronicle that Staveley is looking at personality just as much as ability in the potential transfers, which is a good idea in my opinion. Yeah, I agree with that. Will Howe stick with the same 11? He can't, surely, Dave. He cannot stick with that same 11 from Leicester.
No, he's got to make changes, in my opinion. There was too many people just riding the wave in the second half last week. I didn't see it, but I watched the highlights, and God, that was a bloody horror show. The second half, read a fair bit about it. But they just. You would have thought having that non-penalty, and more and more people are saying it was never a penalty, apart from the idiots on Talk Sport, but we'll not talk about them. Obviously when they went in, their heads were down, because it shouldn't have happened, but it did. Being me, I would have come out thinking, you know what, I'm going to show you lot, because you got a penalty you shouldn't have. I'm going to come out and have a proper go, and it didn't happen. And I don't know why. We've done it on the hair. We've come out and played really well second half or whatever, but it just didn't work. So whatever was going on, it was a big trouble. So surely they've got to come out with a few changes in personality and go for it. Because, as you said the other night, I hate the term a free hit. There's no such thing as a free hit. If you're going to get beat 5 or 6, you might as well go out and get the odd couple of goals, and because is the comment before, if we get beat by less than 7 goals, is it a plus point? Well, no, it isn't. But goal difference is already coming to it. We're quite a few goals behind the teams above us. We might catch them on points, so it's almost it's 3 points. It could be 4. So we've got to keep that goal difference down. So if we're going to get beat by 2 or 3 now, you'd think, right, okay, that's not so bad, because that goal difference is starting to close up, and as the season goes on, injuries come with other teams, and we can, and of course we could well spend a fair chunk of cash. We don't know in the January transfer window. Hopefully, we'll spend a bit of money and get some players in to fill the ranks.
Yeah. Well, time will tell, I guess. But will St Maximin perform well at Anfield? He likes showcasing his skills against the big teams.
Fair point.
He should be showcasing his skills against every team, not just the big teams, to be honest. And if that is starting to be a trend, then why is he just turning it on against the big teams? Is he looking for a move to one of them teams? Now, personally, I've already said I would take him out of the side tomorrow. I just think, he needs a bit of a timeout because he's give all those injuries that he's got, judging by the amount of bandages he has on, chance to settle. With Man City coming next. And, I just, I hope if he does play, I hope he basically throws egg in my face and says, this is how well I can do. Plays fantastically well, gets a couple of goals, blah, blah, blah. I hope he does. I'll be one of the first to say, wow, that was incredible. But I just can't see it happening. Not the form he's in at the minute. I'd like to see Fraser there, because Fraser tracks back more than St Maximin. And boy, are we going to need that help tomorrow. I don't know about you, Dave, but St Maximin is somebody that I think we can probably do without tomorrow, given who we're playing and given the defensive duties that are going to be needed.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's almost like him saying, I don't track back. That's not what I do. Well, you're going to have to, because that's, we're back to this comment we made in previous shows about, being a team now, not a few individuals, and I think that's what he's not liking. Will he play well tomorrow if he starts, or if he comes on? who knows? I mean, we all know the man's he's dripping with skill, and and he's wonderful to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But the way we're at the minute, the position we're in, we need grafters who are going to work at both ends of the pitch. You want them to be, stopping the attacks. I mean, back in the day when Shearer played, he was always, when I had a corner, the number of times that he was heading the ball well out to play, into the other half, and then we were back on the attack. We don't seem to do that as much now. But ESM needs to be doing that sort of thing. He needs to get back and just, if only for nuisance value, just to put the other players off. But I mean, I'm like you. I'd love to, come on the show, the review show, whatever, and just go, yeah, okay, then fair enough, I got it wrong. I'd like that, nothing better. But the way he's played the last few games, I'm just not convinced. And I think starting him on the bench would actually tell him, you're not the be and end all, bunny lad. You're just not doing what you got to do. So, and put Fraser in, because Fraser works harder, I think.
Now, Tom's making a point there. It'd be good if we keep Mo Salah quiet tomorrow night. I mean, there is a few rumours going around that he's not playing, but
I'd heard that earlier on that he was injured.
I don't believe that for a second.
No,
I think he'd be in the team. No. It's a massive opportunity for Mo Salah to get some goals. Let's not forget that. And I think Jurgen Klopp will be looking at it as well. Now, how do we keep him quiet, Dave? I mean, he's such a talent. For me, he's one of the best in the world at the minute.
Yeah, he is.
I just hope he doesn't spoil his performances by, diving around like he did last time. We've seen him do that a few times against Newcastle, which has let him down badly. But, when he's on his game and he's playing proper football, he's magical to watch. How do we stop him?
Well, I mean, it's a bit like some of the teams are doing with the SM now. They're putting 2 or 3 around them to calm him down, because they know that his final third ball, his final ball isn't good enough. So they just stand 2 or 3 next to him. They don't even try and tackle; they just let him run, just run with him, and he runs out of steam. So you've got to be able to, you've got to do that with him, put players on. But the trouble is, though, Paul, Liverpool have got that many other good players. If we, put 2 or 3 on him all the time, the other ones are going to get the ball. Yeah. And that's the issue. So how do you work that? And I think that's why, do we go down and say, right, we're going to play not to get hammered, with the 4-5-1 or whatever it is we're going to play, and that could work, because especially if we get a break in that position, if they're further forward, they lose the ball, our 5 could go quite quick up the field, but I don't know how you do it, because he is a wonderful player. But the trouble is, like a lot of these top players, he does tend to fall over easily, and that frustrates me.
I mean, I remember when against Dummett, I don't know, it was last season, but when he Dummett didn't even touch him, and he went down like he'd been shot. I mean, that's just, and he got a penalty for it. It just beggars belief. DGL Float says Nat Phillips has said he wants to leave Liverpool in January to play more games. Would anyone take him? I would. Yes, I would. And somebody mentioned earlier in the comments Sven Botman as well. Now, if we were to get Botman and Phillips, I'd be quite happy with that, because I actually think Nat Phillips is a very good defender as well, and certainly better than Lascelles and Clark. So, I'd go with that. Anyone who thinks it's time for a house sack and doesn't deserve the airtime or attention to be taken seriously, let him have his transfer window before we know what he can do. I think more than one transfer window, Chesney, to be honest. I think a few.
He needs to.
Lascelles is the Newcastle's Harry Maguire. I'll tell you what, they're on par this season. I tell you, the way they're both playing.
I would have said I'll swap you last year, but not this season.
No, definitely not. I'll only judge how if he started to go like Bruce. The season is all about staying up. It is not his squad, and he's had to hit the ground running with it. I mean, that's what we said a million times over, Dave, isn't it?
Absolutely.
People are. It doesn't matter what formation, what tactics, or anything. If you haven't got the players on that pitch that are good enough, that have been run into the floor by an ex-manager who has completely devoid the whole squad of confidence, you're going to struggle to hit the ground running. And Guardiola, Wenger, or whoever it may be, would struggle to get a tune out of these guys at the minute.
You're absolutely right. We've said this so many times that, as I said the other night, we've got a new owner, a new consortium. We've got, I That's funny.
I know, yeah.
We've got a new coaching team. We've got a new head coach, manager, whatever we call it, a new found optimism, but we've still got the same team. And while some are good, the vast majority just aren't good enough for this league anymore. And when there were some of them were brought in the Championship. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, Paul and viewers.
That's all right, mate. That's. I expect that having no APs on the show, mate. Don't worry. You'll be sitting on a commode next to do the show.
Yeah, it won't be sitting. I'm not already. No, but I mean, it's these people are having a go at Eddie Howe. You're absolutely right. It's got to be 2 or 3 transfer windows. I mean, if this time next season, God forbid, we're in mid-table Championship, I'll be having a go.
Yeah.
But that doesn't bear it. Let's not even go there. So if this time next season we're sort of hovering around 10th, 12th or something in the Premier League, I'll think, yeah, he's building, because as we've said so many times, and that's what I mean, most people think this, it's a 2 or 3 year building program. Yeah. I mean, you look at when Man United got bought. I mean, how long was it before they started to win things? It was 4 or 5 years. And I mean, it's only
Fergie was a game away apparently from being fired, wasn't he? And then Man City took the time to build up again. I mean, people jump in the gun who expect success overnight.
And we've seen teams in Europe who've gone out and spent an absolute fortune buying the cream of European football and done now because you've got a team of 12 or 11 rather individuals who can't gel together, and that's what you don't want to do. You want to keep slotting new people in with the same ethos, and you say, right, that position needs looked at. And the other thing is I've said and you said, we haven't got the strength and depth, so Lascelles knows he's going to be in every time because there's nobody there to bother him. ASM probably thinks the same, and that's why some of these players do need to be dropped to the bench for a game or two, just to say, yeah, you're good fella, but you know what? Unless you play better, you're not going to be in the team all the time. And that'll, it'll serve them good to think, I'm not the blue-eyed boy. I need to work hard.
Yeah. I like coffee, says Paolo Brambaldini. Class, quality.
That's a good one.
Thomas says, I put a 5 on us winning tomorrow. Oh, geez, I don't think you're going to see anything from that. Why do we do the same thing over and over again? Pass to Lascelles in acres of space. He then waits until the opposition close down our other players, then he still passes to the one nearest to him. Yep, exactly what happened against Leicester. And I'll tell you why that is, Yano, is because he's too slow. His decision-making is too slow. Yeah. He doesn't get the ball out quick enough. He can't bring the ball out of the back 4 by himself. He can't do it. He's terrible on the ball. And that's what loses us a lot of mistakes. And to be honest, that is what has lost us a lot of penalties and free kicks this season, because he's been so damn slow on the ball.
You're right. I mean, I think it's just, as you say, that for my money, his biggest flaw at the moment is decision making.
Yeah.
What was that? Missed that.
25-0. I think Ben's had a bang on the head. How dare you put Maldini in the same sentence as those two, says Michael. I know, yeah. Brian says, if we bring players in and we have a 25-man capacity squad, who will be leaving? Well, we will be coming on to that. We will be doing a live show towards the beginning of January. So after Christmas, during that week between Christmas and New Year, me and Dave, and I'm hoping to get a couple more guests on, we'll be talking about the whole transfer incomings and outgoings and see what we can come up with, and you guys, you viewers as well. So keep an eye on that, because we will be doing that between Christmas and New Year. Trill says, indeed, Cesare, I have no idea why Lascelles doesn't do what Joe Linton has done and trade extra to get his pace and timing up. Wayne says, Lascelles, not a captain for me. You lead by example. He can't defend, pass the ball, or even motivate the players. I kind of agree with that. Gareth says, Norwich have a goal difference of -26. We are on -17. It could be pivotal heading into January. Strengthening, we should become whatever he was going to finish with there. But I agree with that, because, if you look at that, that's why tomorrow is a big day not to concede loads of goals, Dave, because if we slump into if we slump into goal difference along the same side as Norwich, we are in trouble.
It's an extra point. I mean, that was the thing that the past couple of years, even in Benitez's era, our goal difference was was only 1 or 2 or whatever. In fact, one year we were down the bottom end of the Bermudas. We had a 0 goal difference, and everybody else around us was like, minus 15, 20 or more. And it's like an extra point. And at the minute, it's working against us because our goal difference is so bad. So we need to keep that goal difference.
David makes a point there, Dave. We could easily concede 15 goals in the next 3 games, and we could then have the worst goal difference in the Premier League, which is why tomorrow we need to try and do something different.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's that old saying, Paul, if you always do what you always did, you always get what you always got. So we've got nothing out of the all but one of the games this year, apart from a couple of draws. You need to do changes, and what Eddie's got to do is look at it and think, right, does he change the formula? Does he change the starting positions? Does he push people forward? Does he push Willock forward? Bring Hayden in for ASM, stuff like that. He's got to do something to try and shake the whole thing up, So
I like that comment there. If we rest ASM and give Fraser a run out, when ASM comes back, we can call it the mummy returns because of all the bandages. Brilliant. Yeah. David says, I'm optimistic we're going to get a freak win against Liverpool. We do sometimes go at the bigger teams.
Yeah, we have been known to do that. In our history, games are going to get beat with
we have, yeah. So. I just can't see it tomorrow. Andrew, good evening, mate. Plans should be for straight Liverpool for as long as possible, and if still in the game, throw him on. Bring on the SM, as an impact sub. I mean, he certainly could do an impact sub's job, Dave, at somewhere like Liverpool, because 20 minutes to go, throw him on if we're still in the game. But
just see it go for it.
Yeah, but are we talking pipe dreams here, saying still in the game with 20 minutes to go? I mean,
yes, I think we are. Paul.
I can't say I'm excited about driving down there tomorrow, Dave. I really can't. I'm not excited.
I must admit, I was talking to a couple of mates today, and I was mentioning you were going down, and they just said, you don't fancy going down? I went, no. I said, had we been playing okay and doing well, I would have thought, I might have, jumped in the car and gone down. But it really gets me when you go all that way, you put all that effort in, and you shout and cheer like you did at Leicester last weekend, and you get absolutely thumped. And you come away, more doom and gloom. And it's so frustrating when that happens. So
it's hard as well because you get very tired. I mean, driving.
Yeah.
I know that was a sort of 2 o'clock kickoff, but you the next day and the day after that, it catches up on you. And then obviously Liverpool, I'm not going to get battled about 2-3 in the morning. So, but anyway, if any of the viewers are going to the game, put in the comments if you're going. And are you looking forward to it, or are you like me and very apprehensive about going? Wayne says,
I'm going to drive to the front room and sit in the big chair and put the telly on. Sorry.
Cheers, mate.
Always there to support.
Yes, I know. ASM needs to be benched to make him realise that he can't just play every week. How is holding back on being ruthless because it's early days and we don't have time to mess about. Something's not quite right with Jones still about, and I think he should have left the club. I've heard a few people saying that this week, by the way, Dave. That maybe Jones is the bad apple amongst this lot, and just because he's, still around from the Bruce days.
It's a funny thing because when he came, we had a big uplift last season and everything. He's the man. Yeah. And a lot of people were saying, get rid of Bruce and put Jones in charge. Jones had 3 games.
James Bond.
Yes. He had 3 games, and I mean, it was no to shout about, was it? So you've got to think, is it not worth? And it may not be that he's not a good coach because there's so many people that said he's a really good coach, and the players seem to like him. But it's what influence he's having in the background. Has he got Eddie's ear? Has he got the other, coach's ear? And is he not as good as we think he is? We don't know. I mean, he doesn't seem to be in the thick of it as much as he used to be. Which, he was there at the Burnley game. He came and gave Eddie a big hug and said, "Well done, Gaffer," which was nice. But yeah, so I just don't know. I mean, we keep saying about things behind those closed doors. A lot of people knows what's going on, but we never get to know. And is he a bad egg? I don't know. I seem to like the guy. He seems to know what he's talking about. He's obviously had a good career. He's done well in various places, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, it's but yeah, a lot of people have said, a lot of my mates have said, they should have had a complete clean sweep, and get rid of everybody.
I think it was clear from the. I think it was clear from the off though, Dave, that Jones was going to be sticking around, wasn't it? I mean, they made it quite clear.
Well, he said Amanda had told him his position was safe, whatever was going to happen, or a position was safe. Yeah. So I don't know. I'll wait and see.
Shanio says, why can't we get Liverpool in January when Salah and Sane are away at the African Cup of Nations?
That's a fair point.
I think there's a lot of people, hoping that the Premier League might have stepped in and shut the league down for a couple of weeks, and then maybe rearranged for January, which would have suited us really well.
Yeah. But the big problem with doing that is, Paul, that obviously there's, with the World Cup back in the next year, the longer the season goes on, the worse it's going to be. So they're unlikely to do that, close it out for 4 or 5 weeks, because it's going to have a horrible knock-on effect at the back end of the season, So. Yeah.
And next season starting early, of course, because of the World Cup. So they can't afford the backlog.
Yeah.
Toon says Klopp has said Salah is playing because he's going to take all the penalties. Of course, Mike Dean in charge.
It's all about Mike Dean.
Yep. Esky says Klopp may as well play the youngsters tomorrow and give them a run out. Do well to keep Salah out. Best in the world at the minute. Not good for us. Andrew says he's always been difficult to like at times because I remember the dives he takes, but fantastic player at the same time. Tom says, Dave, who do you think will win the Premier League this season?
I've said from the start, I think it'll be City again.
Really?
I don't think Chelsea or Liverpool, certainly not Man United, have got what it takes. I think City are just slowly building as the weeks and the months go by, and I just think they're going to do it. I really do.
I mean, if they do sign an out-and-out striker in January, I think it's game over. They're scoring 7 goals in the game without a striker.
Without a striker. So if they got a world-class striker, I think everybody's got to go, oh my God. Yeah. Tin hats on, watch what's happening. So, yeah.
Paul, personally, I think ASM used to watch Thundercats and think he's Mumra. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't think a lot of the younger viewers will know who we're talking about, but I certainly remember that.
Yeah.
Beats is Paul and Dave, what formation and personnel would you go with? Well, we'll do that at the end when we do our prediction beat, but I'm sure Dave's gone for some changes as well. Cesare says the problem with putting 2 or 3 players on Salah compared to ASM is that Salah has evolved his game to release early and take 3 players out of the game with one touch. And that's what we talked about. If we look at ASM tomorrow, if he's playing, then, what he needs to do is exactly what Cesare said there. If he's got 3 or 4 men around him, give the ball to a colleague and then start running. You take them players away, it's going to leave gaps because they're concentrating on him rather than the other players.
Yeah. And then they're playing catch-up because they're behind you. That's what you need to do,
JR says another 4-0. Luke said game could still be called off. Announcement at 6:10. Funny man. I mean, what did you think of the Burnley Watford game, Dave? 2 hours before kickoff.
Disgraceful.
I mean, it's absolutely shocking, that, isn't it? Again, the fans just aren't thought of in this.
I mean, I don't know who it was. Sky or somebody tweeted out and said that the game was called off. And they said it's not good for the fans. And I just said they've never cared for the fans. And a load of other people came on and said they haven't cared for the fans in the last 3 years. Why would they start now? And you see some of the late night games that's coming up over the festive period, and then, I mean, what is Man United? It's an 8 o'clock kickoff, isn't it?
Yeah,
for us?
Man U's
which
for us.
We've got a few miles to travel. It's not so bad, but I mean, what's about to Manchester? 3.5 hours, I guess. So they're going to get out the ground, get back to their cars or the buses around about 11 o'clock. It's a long old night back, and it's just it happens all the time. And then making 2 o'clock against Southampton and stuff like that for us, just not acceptable. They don't care. Yeah. I mean, my mate many years ago said one of these days they're going to say, and last year it nearly happened. Do we really need to bother with these fans every week? Because I know we're a load of trouble. They just come in and they leave a load of litter, which we've got to clean up.
I mean, to be fair, Dave, 2 hours before kickoff, a lot of practically most of the Watford fans will have already been there.
Would have been there.
You know,
yeah,
I mean, when we go to away games, and they're at least 2.5 hours before the game starts, just to make sure you can, you get parked, you get to the ground, and but the buses and everything would have been there, and that. Yeah. Can you imagine travelling up from Watford and then getting to, oh, by the way, the game's been cancelled. See you later. Turn around and on you go. I mean, it's shocking.
It is. It happened to me years ago when we played Barcelona. In Barcelona, we went for a few days, and there was a massive thunderstorm on the night, and that game was put back 24 hours. Nobody complained because we all knew with the we saw the amount of rainfall. The whole of the city was just awash. And you think, well, yeah, okay. That's not good, but it had to be put back 24 hours. We'll get that, but you can't tell me they didn't know 4 or 5 hours earlier, more than that it was going to happen. 2 hours is just not acceptable in these situations.
Chris says, no, this is probably a stupid question, but is there any way we can actually chat to you guys on the show rather than text only? Relatively new to YouTube, so take it easy if it's a stupid question. No questions are stupid, Chris, but we do a fan forum on a Tuesday night. Which we put the link to join the show in the comments at the top. It's always pinned in the comments. You just click on that, and that'll bring you into the show. So yes, you can.
We're going to get you
Tuesday night. Yeah, and we'll definitely get you on. Sean says, "Hi lads, what's up with the negative attitude? ASM has been playing poor in the last 4 or 5 games, but we need him on the pitch. There is no good going to Liverpool to defend with the players we've got. It's not a negative attitude, Sean. It's just basically what's been going on. In front of our eyes." He's not performing, and I think he needs taken out the firing line. And Liverpool is probably the game to do where we're not going to get anything from it. Now, when you say that we haven't got any attacking players on the pitch, if Fraser comes in, he's an attacking player. Put Murphy on the other side, he's attacking. We've still got Joe Linton in the middle of the park if he goes there. Willock, hopefully going forward. Wilson, there's plenty of options there to attack Liverpool. But let's be honest here. We are going to spend most of this game tomorrow defending. There is no doubt about it. We are going to be spending most of it defending. Possession is going to be relatively low. Liverpool will be at it from the off. Hopefully they're not. But let's face it, they're playing so damn well at the minute. You know that's going to be a factor. So for me, Fraser is better at tracking back than ASM. Winning the ball, Fraser will get forward. He will cross the ball, and that's what we need at the minute. So I'm not saying, look, bench him forever. I'm saying he's not added the last 4 or 5 games. Take him out the firing line. Let him recharge the batteries up and get ready for Man City. Because I'd rather see him against Man City at home than I would against Liverpool away. That is just my opinion. It's not a negative attitude. It's just trying to work a way that we can actually perform tomorrow night and then get ASM back firing on Sunday against City. Yeah. But we'll see. Bless you, says Chris.
That's me sneezing.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
DJ for Trippier, Botman, Phillips, and Lewis doesn't sound too bad. And Lewis will get better around better players too. Add Lingard and a decent centre forward to help Wilson. Then I might start to believe. Yeah, it's a big month, January. It's a massive. Mark says, our King Dave remembers Ward Jackie getting his 200.
I already saw him play once, and that was in a testimonial game, but he still had it, mate. He still had it.
Yeah. Are you doing memberships yet, by the way? Very, very soon. Very soon. I just need to get this week out the way, and I'll sort it out at the weekend, to be honest, because I'll not have time. MG says, no matter who the manager is, the squad will still be shit. Exactly. He's got nothing to... He can't do anything. Yeah. But never mind. John says, make them all stand on the goal line. Some fool would score goals. Surely not another English coach, a clown. Paul says, I have a feeling we might be seeing another rant tomorrow. I hope not, because, yes, I'll be doing a reaction after the match straight from the ground, and that will go immediately onto the channel. But I don't want to have to scream at my camera again. What I want to see, I'm expecting us to lose tomorrow, okay? Now, if we lose, but we lose, we go down fighting and we've put in a good effort, we've put in a bit of a performance, then I won't be too fussed about that. I can accept the defeat if we've played, if we've actually tried. What I can't accept is that second half against Leicester, Dave, which was abysmal. Yeah. But if we lose and we go down fighting, that's a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, it's right. It's the manner of defeat that you want to look at. I mean, the chances of us getting anything out of the game tomorrow are, minimal at best. But if we give them a really good game and we get beat 3 or 4-0, but we've got the stats show that we've played well and players have really put a shift in. I mean, like we did, when we lost a player after 8 minutes, that team has to be praised. I mean, even if it was a draw, we worked our socks off, and you think, yeah, fair enough, you did well under really bad circumstances, but you did it well done, and that's what you want to see. You just don't that capitulation second half last week was just atrocious, and we can't afford to say that again because, as we said, we could end getting cut adrift if we don't. We've got to keep pace with the teams around us.
The reason it pissed me off so much, Dave, was because we mentioned it before. When after that penalty incident, you'd think they would be furious in the dressing room,
exactly,
and they would come out and put it right in the second half, and they just didn't.
No, that's right. I mean, it'd be me. I would have come up and said, right, you so-and-sos, I'm going to show you, you cheated to get the lead. We're going to make sure we take it off you. They didn't do that, and it was just, I don't know, one of them things, but it's just so frustrating.
10 Tabs Gaming says, would you agree our keeper's distribution is shite, or is it our players don't move out quick enough? I can't decide. It's a bit of both, to be honest, mate. If you watch, when we get the ball, I mean, listen, you could say that about our throw-ins as well. We take so long. I mean, you look at other teams when they get throw-ins, the movement is fantastic. You watch City, or you watch, Liverpool tomorrow night, or you watch City on Sunday, how quick they are when they're throwing in. The players are always moving. Yeah. Even when they're passing it around, there's always movement. We're very static, and that's the thing that's been the problem with this team for years now. Yeah. The movement is not quick enough. And when we're trying to play out from the back, I think Eddie Howe needs to say, look, bollocks to that. Dubravka, you get a goal kick, you pump it long. Because they're just going to come straight back at us again. And if we play out the way Liverpool closed down, we've seen how good they are at that. We're in deep shit, either way we look at it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think I quite like teams that play from the back and build slowly and frustrate the opposition. But at the minute, we just don't have the quality of players to do that. So we've got to do what with the type of players we've got and the skill that they've got. We've got to play the way it suits them at the minute, and then obviously get those new players in January. Then we'll change the whole thing around, and it'll, the more players we get that'll fit Eddie Howe's thoughts, the better. But at the minute, we just haven't got the team. I mean, I was talking to one of my mates earlier on, and he's not into football. He's an archery mate, and he just said, "I don't get it." And I said, "Well, it doesn't matter how good an archer you are. If you've got the wrong arrows, you're not going to put them in the middle because they're not tuned, they're not set, they're wrong length, or whatever." So it doesn't matter how well
you have to tune an arrow.
Yeah.
What do you do? Play it like a bloody flute?
Yeah, you do. I'll have to do.
How the hell do you tune an arrow?
Well,
do you stroke and go there? Now aim for the middle. Aim for the bullseye.
It's all the balls all got to be set up properly. So I'll do a vid one of these days, and you can watch it.
I won't.
Cheers.
No problem. Shanio said, "This is Newcastle United are paying 19-1 to beat Liverpool tomorrow. So for anyone who doesn't understand gambling, that means if you put 20 quid on Newcastle, you'll lose 20 quid."
Oh, God. I'm not a gambler,
says, I didn't realise you went live on Facebook as well. Yeah, we do. All the live shows go on Facebook and YouTube, mate. So you've obviously found us over there on Facebook. Andrew says, take your face for a shit. Are the t-shirts available yet? Not yet, but I'm going to have to start getting something sorted with these, can't you? Because plenty of people are wanting them.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
It'll be a good seller.
Maxi will do nothing again tomorrow. Fed up with him now. Might as well drop him and bring him back for the Everton game. I don't think keep him out that long. I just think give him a break and put him in against Man City. We could well see something different. Wayne says, how do you think Wilson is playing so far?
I think Wilson's playing well, but he's not getting the service he needs. So he's not getting the stats that he deserves because, he's excuse me, it's the old joke. He's got to head his own crosses in. And it's you need to get the ball to him. He's our out and out striker, and we need to get the ball to him so he can do. We've all seen how you can turn on a sixpence and put the ball on the back of the net. So we're not giving him the service he needs. So it's little wonder that his stats don't show how well he can play.
I mean, let's face it, he's got a monumental task tomorrow, hasn't he? I mean, you look at, I mean, who's been playing for, is it Matip and Van Dijk who've been playing as the two centre-backs? I mean, even if Gomez they've got as well. I don't know whether he's fit, but, they've got an array of talent at centre-back, and sometimes that covers for when Trent goes walkies, and they've got Robertson at left-back, who I think is a fantastic player. I mean, God, would I love to have Robertson in the Newcastle side. I mean, he defends, he gets forward, he can cross a ball, he can shoot. He's got some engine on him, and I just think it would be great to have them type of players, which we will have in the future.
But I don't think Van Dijk is the player he used to be after he had that injury. But I tell you what, he's head and shoulders above what we've got.
But you see, Van Dijk is the type of player, Dave, that even if he's lost a yard of pace, he doesn't need it because he reads the game so well.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely right.
If you watch him play, he's always very astute, and he knows if the ball's going to get played through, he steps up, and he's a wonderful player. Abs's Toon Review transfer deadline day show. There is going to be something happening, yes, on transfer deadline day. No problem at all about that. So I may be joined by other channels for that as well as obviously Mr. Harrison.
I would hope that by the deadline day, we've got all the business done. Yeah, I'd like to see our business done by the end of the first week. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it would be nice. But let's face it, I mean, deadline day this time around, you just never know. Because we actually could be involved in deadline day this year, and that would be quite interesting.
And properly involved as well,
I mean, as we know that Dave Harrison is the spitting double of John Motson, I might wrap our Davey up in a big fur coat and send him to St James's Park and be the Toon Review reporter outside the ground.
Outside the training crew.
Yeah, and send them some cup of coffees on a regular basis to keep them warm. And we might both be out and about. Who knows? We might just stay in the warm house and do it from home. So with our little tickers on and seeing who's going where. So we'll definitely be doing something, Abs, for deadline day. No doubt about it. A sloth is faster at sentinel defence. I take you talking about Lascelles. You've seen that War Flags have some of the Sports Direct signs and letters for the next display. I did see that, actually. I read that just before I came on the show. Really looking forward to seeing what they do with them. I think that will be, I mean,
did you see the scrapyard picture with that obviously just tipped them all out of the it was all twisted and marked, and get in.
Absolutely superb. Just where they need to be. Stephanie says we need Wilson for captain because he's vocal and speaks up and challenges decisions, and we need that. That's possibly a good point, Dave, because the penalty at Leicester,
nobody complained.
Nobody complained, but the captain never said anything. Did you see? He just put his head down, was just twittering onto himself. He's got to be better than that. He's got to challenge the referee.
Well, I mean, whether you think it's a penalty or not, that's a moot point. But when you get a penalty and he was facing the wrong way, and that he's trying to do a bloody Superman impression before he hit, and he hit Lascelles' leg. It wasn't the other way on. It would have been me. I'd have been ranting because I was annoyed at what had happened, what I'd done. I would have been ranting at anybody to get listen, especially the referee. And all just stood there going, "Oh, I've done it again, lads. Oh, dear. And they should be ranting, and then in a fair and firm way. I don't like it when they're all crowd around the referee and they're all screaming.
No, I understand, but as captain, he has that ability to talk to the referee.
Yeah, excuse me, may I have a word, referee? That's what he should be doing. He's not doing that, no.
I don't think I'd say it as politely as that, though.
Well, no, it's probably just because the way I am.
Royally. Lascelles did well under Rafa. Did Bruce change him beyond repair? And does Howe still see the Lascelles of old during training? Well, he certainly sees something we don't. Chris says, "Hey, Misfit, what's with the spanner? Does that mean you're admin?" Yes, it does. She's one of the moderators on the channel.
So don't mess with her.
Don't mess with her. Yeah. We have three, Chris. We've got three. We've got Julie, who is in and out of the show tonight because she does quizzing on a Thursday. And also my co-host is also one of the moderators. So behave yourself in the chat or you'll have to deal with them. Andy says, maybe Lascelles is doing all the right things in training, but then bottles it in games. But if that's the case, Howe needs to drop him.
But I mean, I said this a couple of weeks ago on a show, Paul, back in the day, you had Shola Amiobi, that well-known Magnum Slayer, who played for several different managers. Every time a new manager came in, we're thinking, well, it'll be away now. And he was always played, and a number of people have said, yes, but in training, he's a world beater. He's a Messi, he's, whoever. But he couldn't hit on the pitch. I mean, how many games did he play at Russ? And he scored was it 90 goals he scored in 3 games or a lot of games. So, I mean, that's what the manager has to look at. And as you alluded to earlier, he hasn't had long enough to see enough, in my opinion, and others will disagree, obviously, but he hasn't had enough game time to see who's falling away and not doing what they should be doing. And that's what he needs to look at and work out where he needs to change. And obviously he's got to go to the powers that be and say, I need reinforcements or new players in this, that, those positions. And he's obviously looking at games and thinking that's what I need to do now. And that's going to take a little while. You can't come in. As you said earlier, you had a week out with COVID, 10 days. And he just knocked them back the whole time, So.
Yeah. Chesley's made a few songs up for you, Dave.
Oh, okay.
The best of Dave Harrison ballads. He ain't heavy. He's my butler. Ring my bell for a posher upbringing. Don't let the drawbridge hit you on the way out. Available at elite luncheonettes everywhere.
That's very brilliant.
Quality. I like that. Nathan says, are you going to the game, Man City game? Yes. Me and Dave Harrison. Dave works he does a bit for the food bank before the game, collecting money. Does a fab job with that, as they all do.
Great cause.
Collectors and stuff.
Come along and see us just in front of Shearer's, Paul.
Yeah, and then just before, once he's done that, he'll come and join us. We normally stand alongside by the club shop before the game, next to the Jackie Milburn statue. We're there pretty much up to about 20 minutes before kickoff. So if you want to come and say hello, that's where we'll be.
You got to see us.
K Moggy says, if we get Trippier and Lingard, happy days.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Brian says Jones is on a rolling contract till January 2022. Chris is trying to understand what a moderator is. It's just somebody who kicks people out who aren't very good on the chat. Who are abusive or nasty, they get kicked out before I even see them. Ab says the players are the bad apples. We need them rotten lot out and freshly juiced ones in. I like that analogy. That's really good. Mike says, my concern is I don't really see much of our players having a go at ASM when he loses the ball. Really don't know why.
It's a fair point, that,
Yeah. Especially when he loses it just outside his own penalty area. That's when it does my napper.
Well, the thing is, Paul, as well, if you remember early part of last season, Almiron was doing that. He cost a few goals by trying to defend when he couldn't, but he's worked on his game. He's up and down. I get that, but he's changed that, and he can do things there. That's something else the ASM needs to look at and just change. But yeah, it's a fair point. Why aren't our players? Why isn't the captain? Sorry, I'll shut up.
Yeah. Was that a Dave Harrison rant starting by any chance?
It was. Well, no, just thinking, why doesn't the captain shout at him? I'm thinking, no, it's Lascelles. I'll just not.
Yeah. We're yet to see you really go for a rant, Dave. I'm looking forward to that.
I don't go very often, but when I do, I stand back.
Yes, yeah. Hurricane Harrison. Michael says, thoughts on the Chronicle reporting Gale, Sean Longstaff, Clark, and Hendrick are going to get rid of. Happily let them go. Yeah, I wouldn't be unhappy to see any of them leave. I wouldn't be sort of disappointed if they were all gone, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd be sad to see Longstaff go because he's a local lad, and I think it doesn't do any good for kids coming through the academy. But
but the problem is, Dave,
he's not good.
Can't be sentimental.
No, you're absolutely right. I wouldn't say we absolutely have to keep him because he's just not playing well enough. And yes, you probably go and play well for somebody else, but.
We'll come on to formation shortly, Tom. Don't worry. How does Callum Wilson deal with Van Dijk without proper services or support? Well, we mentioned that before. God only knows. Mike says, ideally, what we want is a sterling defensive performance and a penalty to us in the 90th minute and score, of course.
Go for that.
Yeah. Then we wake up, we fall as we're asleep. And we wake up as we splash into our cornflake milk. John says Jones should be sacked. Had his chance unless sacked at Luton. Enough said. Also, assistant manager sacked at Bournemouth. Yano says Burnley have a load of games to catch up, hopefully without their current defence. Yeah, I mean, it's a big thing for Burnley, that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Jake said I would rest. Go on.
So I'm going to say I think it's Burnley's year this year.
I do
as
well.
Flirted with relegation for a number of years, and I just think that they haven't got what it takes. And I like Sean Dyche. I think he's a good bloke, but I think it's could well be there. Yeah, but they've scraped that a few times before, so you never know.
Yeah. I would rest Wilson tomorrow. He's going to have to do a lot of running off the ball with probably scant reward. We need him fit for the winnable games. That isn't a bad point, actually, as well, from Craig. This kind of game, it's just going to boil it. We know how frustrated Callum Wilson gets, Dave. And if he loses his rag, then, yellow card round the corner, he's suspended.
It's just one game that he loses, though, isn't it? But it is. I don't know when it would be. I was asking somebody on Twitter yesterday, how many games has you got to go without getting that fifth yellow card when the previous four are wiped out? I know.
I can't remember that. If anybody does know that, stick it in the comments. But I'm not sure.
I think it's like 10 games, but I could be wrong. So if anybody knows, let me know.
Chris says, thanks, I'm with you now. Just new to YouTube and love this channel and Paul's angry rants too. I don't rant. When do I rant? No. Cesare says to Chris, welcome to the family. Yep, that's what we are in the Toon Review. Welcome, a big Newcastle family. Baz says, okie dokie, I'm okay with that. Save St. Maximan and Willock for changes in the second half. Yano says, reported days Trippier has a shoulder injury and will be out for 2 months. That's typical. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Mike says, how about Joe up front? Energy and better contest with Van Dijk, rest Wilson, and sure him and ASM are 100% for Man U. There's an option there to do that, but I'd rather have Joe Linton working his ass off in the midfield because Willock is not doing it right now, and we need somebody in there who's going to win the ball. Thomas says, what do you think about the fact that we managed to snatch Liverpool's analyst? A sign of the new exciting times. Did you see that, Dave?
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, I don't know much about the lad because obviously he's that infamous backroom staff people, but certainly the Liverpool was saying that they really couldn't hold him back. He desperately wanted to come to us, so because he's worked with Eddie Howe before, so I mean, on the face, from what I've read, really good acquisition and something Howe was desperate to get. So good. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, it just goes to show we are now able to attract quality people. Yeah.
Ab says, if they call the Liverpool game off 5 minutes before the start, I will be delighted. Abs,
here it comes.
As I have already stated on this very show, Abs, I am going to the game. I am not driving all that way down to Liverpool to get into the ground to find out 5 minutes before kickoff that there's been a poxy COVID outbreak and the game is cancelled. I will remember that comment, and if that happens, Abs, I will hunt you down. I swear to God. My dear God.
I get where he's come from, but not 5 minutes. I mean, if they called it out 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, I think fair enough. But not like we said earlier, not a couple hours or 5 minutes before the game.
Chris says, family, I love that. Yeah, that's what I tend to say about this channel. We're one big family. All the subscribers are a big family on this channel. And that's how it's going to stay moving forward.
You can see that as well. I forgot the lad's name who's just joined. If you look through the channel, the comments at the start, everybody's saying hi, so and so, how we doing? All right. Everybody's saying hello to everybody, and then asking the questions. That's what we do,
And then Chris, like you, all the new subscribers come in and they're welcomed in straight away. So I don't take any of my subscribers on this channel for granted. I think you're all brilliant and you've supported me through very dark times. And without you guys and my family and Susan, I've had some tough times, and without you guys, I wouldn't have got through it. So it's built up very nicely, this channel. And the good thing is it is keep building. We are less than 200 away from 7,000 now.
Wow.
It's going up every day. And big Q&A at 7,000, guys. So get subscribing. Share it with your friends and family if they like watching football shows on YouTube. Share it with everybody possible, and let's try and get to 7K, hopefully maybe before Christmas or over the festive period, and then I could do the 7K Q&A. CFC Florida, thanks for the $10, mate. Evening, gents. He's hoping you pull a typical Newcastle and take a point or points from the game. Hopefully, mate. Hopefully.
Be good.
Big Mally says, hey up, lads. Hope you get a better result than we did last night. Oh, let's not talk about that, eh? Leeds fans are, my God. I mean,
they're furious.
I know. I mean, but is Bielsa under any pressure at Leeds? I haven't seen any Leeds fan.
No.
Strange. It's great being linked with English players. Love for Stones to come here. Him and Cody would be solid at the back.
Now, Cody, there's a name we've never mentioned.
Never. No. 1 hour and 6 minutes into the show, that is the first time Conor Cody's been mentioned, by the way.
Yeah. You didn't do it, so yeah.
Nez Master Games knows what he's talking about, you see. He's a very, very astute footballing guy and knows what he's talking about. John Stones and Cody at the back, that would, well, yeah. Sorry I'm late. I shall rewind after. No problem, matey, no problem.
Yeah.
Abs is not sure about Cody, but Stones, yes, laughing emoji. Abs, I tell you what, you're pushing your luck tonight. I swear to God.
He's a good lad, Abs, but he's definitely getting it to the edge, isn't he, tonight?
But with a name like Abs, is it he or is it she?
She?
We don't know. It could be Abigail, remember?
It could, yes, indeed.
I don't know what Abs is short for a boy's name. Abs, let us know.
Yeah, come on.
Dave won't sleep now without knowing.
No,
Chris is looking forward to Tuesday now. Just keep an eye on the channel, Chris, and keep an eye on, if you're on Twitter, keep an eye on there because all the shows go up on there. Like I say, there's recordings done most days as well on any Newcastle news and stuff like that. So, Toonza says ASM does not defend. There is no point having him on the pitch stomping around huffing. Tom says, question, if Wilson gets a yellow, he will miss the next game. Basically, if he's missing, who would you have in? I think that's a conversation to be thought about, to be honest, Tom. Do we play Joe Linton there? Do we play Gale? Do we bring a kid in? There's lots of different options. John says, would Fraser be better than a better bet than Almiron? There might be more chance of an end product. Look, I think ASM and Almiron, leave them out tomorrow. Put Murphy and Fraser in, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Can Eddie Howe work with European players? It's always been a problem with English managers. The situation regarding Fernandes is weird. Any thoughts? Well, we spoke about that earlier, John. It's very, very strange.
It's an odd one.
We need a Brian Kilcline from somewhere. Oh, now there was a hard nut.
Yes, he wasn't nicknamed Killer King Klein for nothing.
Yeah, Ab says there's a Brian Kilcline at Wolves. Just can't remember the chap's name. We know who that is. Do you know who that is, Dave?
No. I'm not. I don't watch Wolves. Are one of them teams I'm not interested in. Sorry, I know I should be, but so who
Dave,
is it?
Think about it.
No, come on, you were on like with names, Paul.
What centre back plays for Wolves?
I don't know.
Conor Cody.
No, does he play for Wolves?
Right, I'm not saving up for your commode anymore now, Dave. I was going to get you one for Christmas, but that's definitely not happening. Cheeky get. Right, last part of the show. We will now... hang on a minute. Cesare has probably a bit of an invasive question, but how much would the members only cost? Can't afford to offer donations with our currency conversion, but I want to support the channel permanently. I think it's going to be $4.99 a month, mate, which I think is reasonable these days, isn't it, Dave?
Different channels are different prices. I mean, some are $1.99, some are $2, $3, $4.
Oh, wait to sell it, Dave. Wait to sell it, son.
But I mean, what you've got to look at, though, everybody, is the quality that you're getting on the channel, and you have to pay for it. So, if you want a decent car, like me, you buy a Jag, and they're expensive. So that's what you got to do.
Yeah, it doesn't come as a surprise to any bugger that His Royal Highness Dave Harrison drives a sodden Jag, and a very bloody nice one at that. I've seen it. It is nice. Friggin' hell. The Queen would be happy driving around in that bloody thing. And it's about 35 foot long. It's immense. But it's going to be about $4.99, Cesare. I can't guarantee that yet. I'm going to look at it closely over the weekend. But there will be sort of good things for the members as well, because they'll get sort of discount on merchandise and things like that when that eventually comes out. So it's all going to start probably in the new year, all the merchandise stuff as well. So members will get discount on that. They'll be first to see the videos, things like that. And obviously, listen, I'm open to feedback as well. If you have any ideas what you'd like to see as members, let me know. because
it's
your
what options
channel
do
as
you
well.
guys think's a good way to go? That's what we need to learn.
Exactly. Yeah. Right, Dave. Have you got your team there?
No.
That's disgraceful.
So I, with what people are saying earlier on, I agree wholeheartedly. I would go, obviously, Dubs in goal.
Hang on. Sorry, Dave. Just wait a second.
Sorry.
Norvik says you tap the arrow shaft with a tuning fork.
No.
Ab says, I want a Flying Bats Toon review mug. Oh, I'm sure we can get them done. I don't think that'll be a problem. Hi, guys. Happy Christmas to you all from a Darlington fan. Thanks, Ian. Hope you're well, mate.
Yeah.
Paul says, we will need to park Dave's Jag in front of the goal, play a 10-0-0 formation, and hope that the bin dippers have a mare. And then we might just scrape a 4-0 defeat. Wow, Jesus Christ. Cheswick says, I can see Dave tuning an arrow in the quarters while court jesters struggle to amuse him.
That's terrible.
Good night, Charles. Take care, matey. Thanks for tuning into the show, buddy.
Take care, buddy.
Gareth says, how is your daughter? Is she feeling better day by day? Unfortunately not. She's still struggling with this long COVID.
It's awful.
She's
awful.
She's sleeping till about 3 PM. Yeah. I've never seen anything like it, to be honest. I mean,
my daughter's exactly the same.
Yeah, when she's awake, she's all right, but she's not. She just sits on the sofa with a blanket over her.
No stamina at all. Donna was exactly the same. Took her 8 weeks to finally think she was back to somewhere near normality.
I mean, Dave, as I told you, the school turned around to one of our friends and asked her, it can't be still COVID while she's off. I think that is a disgusting thing to say.
Absolutely.
But it has literally wiped her out. I mean, she wasn't ill when she had COVID. She was tired, fatigued, and things like that. But it hasn't got any better. She is still fatigued and still sleeping nearly all the day. It's very, very tough, and it's hard watching as well. She's just not herself. But hopefully, over Christmas we think about something else. We get into the Christmas groove, and then hopefully she can get herself pulled around. But I'm probably going to take her back to the doctors before Christmas and just get her seen again, because they did say it was long COVID, but it's just a nightmare. And so anybody,
all sorts of what do I call them? I'm going to say antibiotics, and I'm not saying that. Vitamins, there you go, got there in the end. Might help, vitamin B and C. We're
going to get multivitamins into her as well, and then see. But there's nothing
Slowly
I can do, I mean,
no,
there's nothing I can do.
No, Donna was exactly
I can't send her to school because she's asleep all day.
Yeah.
She's just got no energy.
And it'll make her worse if she's forced back. She'll just, as you say, she'll be worse than useless at school, bless her.
But honestly, I mean, since she's had this long COVID, I've heard a lot of people talking about it, especially with kids as well. If they get it, it's just horrible. But anyway, hopefully she'll improve. But thank you for asking. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
G says, my opinion, we should drop ASM for the first half and bring him in for the second half. Hopefully show some quality. Rumors. David says, rumor has it Dave's arrow have gold tips.
No.
Foxy says transfer deadline day will be the most exciting part of our season now compared to before. It certainly will. Yeah, we're 14 years we haven't had a bloody decent, yeah. Chesney says, says, does Dave have his chambermaid draw bullseye around wherever his arrows hit?
Well, you see, Chesney, it's not a bullseye in archery. It's the gold. So there you go. Never mind. But no, I don't.
Yeah. Dave, get yourself some Cavonia menthol for a chesty cough.
Yeah, I need to. I got some Danish because Paul said I had to, so helped a little bit. But I'll be all right.
Is Miss Hobbs here? No, Judy's not here. I don't know where she is. Geordie says, how is Danielle doing? Paul, is she coming back? I have no idea is the answer to that.
We hope so.
We hope so.
To get her back,
we've sent our messages, but nothing in reply yet. So hopefully after Christmas, we'll
fingers crossed.
Once she's sorted herself out.
Good to get her back. Miss her.
Tony says Misfit has the spanner of truth.
Oh.
Yeah, she does. I can't argue with that. Right, Dave, go on. Give us your team.
So Dubs at the back. I would not have Lascelles in, but I think he's going to play him. But I'd hope he puts Shaw next to him. And then the usual two guys wide. I would go for a 5-man midfield. Okay. I would have ASM and Almiron out. And, as you say, Fraser and Murphy on the wings. Joe Linton and I'm struggling here whether I put Hayden in or do I put somebody else in and just leave Wilson up front on his own and hope we can just get the ball to him. And I think for my money, that, as I said earlier on, the biggest problem we've got is we need to get the ball to Wilson. And we're not doing that, either with crosses or passes through, the defence. That's what we're going to do. And I think with a 5-man midfield tomorrow, we might have a little bit more time on the ball. Not a lot. We've got to be quick, but that's what I'll do. So it would be 4-5-1 for me.
Yep. I will go with Dubravka. I'd go with Manquillo. Obviously, the same two, unfortunately, centre backs. Lewis at left back. 5 across the middle. 3 compact in the middle. I'd go with Joe Linton, Willock, and Shelvey. Or Joe Linton, Hayden, and Shelvey. I would probably go with the latter. Actually, take Willock out. On the right hand side, I'd play Murphy. Left hand side, Fraser, and up top would be obviously Callum Wilson. So, I think that's surely that's the only thing we've got to see. But they're our teams.
That's the least worst option, I think, Paul.
Exactly. They're our teams. But we'll have a look at some last few comments before we give you our predictions. Mike says, hello, Paul. Have you been out with Dave on your tandem lately? No, I'm not allowed near Dave's castle, to be honest. I get around, a mile away from the castle walls and I get shot by people with big cannons on the walls. It's very difficult to get even near him.
You're always welcome. You're always
You have to book in advance to go and see Dave. Tom says Gale to Middlesbrough or Stoke is the rumour. I'd be happy with that.
No, yeah. Do well at Middlesbrough, mate, I think.
Carl says Newcastle have got to get a win this weekend. I don't think it's going to happen, matey.
No, he's right, but it ain't going to happen.
Yeah, well, we all know that we do need to win, but it's very, very, very difficult to even see how we're going to do it, to be honest.
It's the team we've got against the opposition, and that's the biggest problem. Yeah.
Susan says coming soon at Sean. Well, I hope she means merchandise. Because Andy says Abs is a bloke with a 6-pack.
All right.
Which Abs is laughing to, so I'm not sure whether that's just not.
We'll find out one of these days.
Cesare says $4.99 is very reasonable indeed. Consider me subscribed. Oh, thank you, matey, as usual. Is a keep fit video in Football Guy Mr. Motivator style included? No, it's bloody not, Susan. Yeah, can you actually see me and Dave sitting in bloody Mr. Motivator gear? Go on, Bennett. That'll be like how to kill yourself in 5 minutes. That'll what we'll call the video.
You wouldn't want to see me in Lycra. I mean, my God.
Yeah. Thomas says, you like Paul's rants. Imagine him arriving at Anfield tomorrow. The game gets cancelled because of COVID at 6:10 p.m. And at the same time, he sees a tweet from Cody saying he won't ever come to Newcastle. That would be
You wouldn't need YouTube. You'd hear him from the whole world.
Damn right. Foxy says, "Hope you." Thanks, matey. Really appreciate that.
That's good of you. Yeah.
Will says, "Best wishes to your daughter." Thank you very much, guys. Bless her. Hope she. Thanks, Steph. Vitamin D3. Yeah, I'll try that, matey. Michael says, "Hope she gets better." Thank you. Sorry for scaring you there, Abs. Jesus Christ. Eddie Howe has been seen with Joe Linton hanging around the pink triangle bars wearing leather trousers. Well, that's interesting. Not something I want to see, really. Cesare says, oh my God, Dave just pulled rank on my peasantry comment explaining that it's called gold, not a bullseye. I feel so honoured to be put in my place by royalty. Brilliant. Yeah. Brilliant. Right, it is that time of night. Hang on a minute. What is this? Yes, get Paul and Dave in spandex. This is instant success. What's the matter with you, Cesare? Give it up.
God, no.
Jesus Christ.
We haven't got guns like you've got, fella.
I know. Lisa's currently the best NFC-related channel going on YouTube. Keep it up. Thank you very much, Lee. That's really nice. Appreciate that. Lee. Thank you.
Cheers.
Right, Dave, come on then. Time for predictions.
I'm needed on the phone. I'll
yeah, you're lying. Get on with it.
4-1.
You think we're going to score?
I think Wilson will score 2, and it'll be ASM and Joe Linton second half.
Cool. Cool.
No.
I'm going...
We'll get beat 4-1.
Yeah, I'm going 6-0 Liverpool. I just...
Really? Oh, my word.
Dave, I know that sounds like I'm beating on Newcastle, but
no.
I was there in the flesh on Sunday. I saw how bad it was, and I just can't see how we're going to put up with the Liverpool strike force.
If we play as bad for the whole game as we did second half last week, yeah, you're right. It could be as bad as that.
Yeah. Apparently, we have to do a Christmas special in spandex. It's not happening, Susan. I don't know where your mind going. I'm very, 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 very. Jay Rogers says, "Hi lads, great show. If we can just get to half time, 0-0. Christmas might come a week early.
That'll do for me.
0-0's the CFC Florida. Steph's going for a 5-1 Liverpool. Paul, have some faith. I'm trying, matey, but I just don't at the minute. I want to be wrong. You don't actually imagine or understand how wrong I want to be. I want to be completely wrong about this. Foxy says, I'm trying to be optimistic, so I'm saying 10-0 Liverpool. K-Moggy, 5-0 Newcastle, Joe Linton hat-trick, and Wilson with 2. Oh, my
I'd love
God
it.
Almighty.
Love it.
Barbara's going to put a tenner on Newcastle to win 2-1. Jesus. 4-0 Liverpool, says John. My God. K-Moggy says, seriously, though, 2-1 NUFC steal a win. Cesare is going 5-0 Liverpool. Hate myself for saying this, but that's what I see happening. Yeah, you just...
You so want us to win, but reality kicks in.
Exactly.
That's what you're going to look at.
Fair enough says spandex. It would be like an overfilled sausage. Oh, my goodness me. Yano says dirty, nasty, ugly, lucky, 1-0 Shah from 30 yards.
I'll take that.
Susan says 5-1, even though she knows naught about football, but, the amount of time
she's
I've
learning
to her about Newcastle, she's learning very, very quickly. Andrew would bite your finger off for a point. MG's going 1-1. Robert's going 6. How very funny.
That's clever.
Sean says 3-0 Liverpool. Tiger, I think this would be a world record if this happens, matey. I can't see it. Foxy then says Hendrick overhead kick, 97th minute winner. 2-1 Newcastle, says David. Got to stay positive, Paul. Believe in Joe Linton. I'm trying, matey. I'll get you some at worst. You won't have worms. I'm not sure what that means. Steven says just going to pretend the next couple of games aren't happening. Burn them out, Paul, because we've got them next week. We only win when we're not expecting to. That's a good point, Barbara, to be fair. Yeah. Paul says, surely not 6-0. Get into them and hit them hard and get their backs up. 3-1 Liverpool. Robert's going for a 4-3-3 formation and a 2-0 scoreline. Let's just enjoy this season and get ready for the championship. Oh, yeah. Right. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in to the show. Over 200 watching again tonight. Fantastic. Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you to everybody that super chatted tonight. I really, really do appreciate that. If you have enjoyed the show, guys, please don't forget to hit the like button for me. And if you're new to the channel, then don't forget to consider subscribing. If you know anybody who loves Newcastle and loves Newcastle content on YouTube, please share the channel with them. Let's try and get us up to 7,000 over the Christmas period. That would be incredible. But thank you very much. I will do a reaction video from Liverpool tomorrow night. I will upload it straight away from the car. God help what that's going to be. But hopefully I won't be screaming at my camera, getting funny looks off everybody again. But hey-ho. Anyway, that is it for the show. Dave, we'll need to get another preview show in before the Man City game. So
Saturday.
We'll try and do that Saturday, during the day, I think, rather than Saturday night. Or maybe Saturday morning might be the best time to do that.
Saturday morning's a bit awkward for me, but yeah, we'll have a chat offline. Yeah.
Or we'll just do it
Friday afternoon, Saturday.
Friday, or we'll just do it Friday night, unless you're out with royalty.
Friday night. I'll have a think. I'm not too sure what we've got.
Just keep an eye on Twitter. Keep an eye on the channel, guys. There will be a preview show coming, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But have a great week. Have a great rest of the week, guys. Have a fantastic weekend. I will record my video from a very chilly Anfield at about 10:30 tomorrow night.
And how are the lads? Come on.
How are the lads? Come on. Take care, guys. Good night.
See you, everybody. Ta-da.